This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Don Brennan in for Scott Dennis. And topping our news at noon, it's the start of early voting as select polls open their doors this morning for those wanting to cast their ballots early before the general election, which is being held on November 8th. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo is live at one of the early voting polling places here in Sarasota. And Dwayne, how is the turnout so far today?
Well, Don, good afternoon. Sarasota County voters can let their voice be heard early. I'm here at the North Library in Newtown Estates, one of 7 locations for early voting in Sarasota County. Now, members of both parties are here encouraging us to exercise their right to vote. Now, voters in Sarasota County can cast their ballots this week between 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Florida law also requires voters to present a photo ID when entering the polling place and also prior.
Right now, Venice and Northport are the best sites. They've had the highest turnout. We are having so many vote-by-mail ballots come in that it's going to take away from Election Day and the early voting because vote-by-mail is the most popular way to vote in Florida now.
All right, that was Kathy Dent, and early voting will run until Saturday, November 5th. And it will end at 6:30 in the evening. New numbers in the race for the White House. They are with 15 days left, Hillary Clinton getting a boost in enthusiasm over Donald Trump. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest from Washington.
Hillary Clinton's camps capitalizing on their new momentum. Her surrogate team fanning out across key swing states.
You've got a guy who proves himself unfit for this office every single day.
Donald Trump saying the polls have it backwards.
Numbers are looking phenomenal in Florida. Don't believe the media.
As he outlined his vision for his first 100 days in office.
It's a contract between Donald J. Trump and the American voter.
While on the trail, both candidates continue to trade jabs over who has the most stamina.
You watch her at the end of the debate where she's like exhausted. She could hardly make it to her car.
I have now stood next to Donald Trump for 4.5 hours in 3 debates. Now, who says I don't have the stamina to be president and commander-in-chief?
Rigged.
SNL chiming in on the election with their take on the final debate.
All of the newscasters are making me look so bad.
And how are we doing that?
By taking all of the things I say and all of the things I do and putting them on TV.
Our tracking poll also finds that when it comes to voter enthusiasm, Hillary Clinton's numbers are also up, with more than half of her supporters voting for her because they actually like her, versus the 54% who are voting for Trump just because they don't like Clinton. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
New numbers in the race for the White House. With just 15 days left, Hillary Clinton getting a boost in enthusiasm over Donald Trump for sure. And Trump will be in town tonight in Tampa. It'll take place at the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater, his rally will. Doors for the rally open this afternoon at 4, and Trump is expected to start speaking at 7. Meanwhile, Hillary will also make a stop in Southwest Florida this week. As of now, Mrs. Clinton will be in Hillsborough County on Wednesday to rally support. The location has not been worked out for her just yet, but her vice presidential running mate, Tim Kaine, is planning to make a stop in Sarasota this Friday to encourage early voting. No location has been listed as of yet for Mr. Kaine's visit. In other political news, 2 other major Republicans are in our area today discussing the drug problems in Florida. A meeting is underway right now between Senator Marco Rubio and Congressman Vern Buchanan. That is taking place at Manatee Memorial Hospital in Bradenton. In the meeting, they'll discuss the heroin and opioid epidemic plaguing Florida and Manatee County especially, because Manatee County has been the hardest hit in all of Florida with the heroin epidemic. This year, it's already had 900 suspected heroin-related deaths. Now joining us, John Scalzi, who is kind of the man of the hour. Forget Trump, forget all the other people, because you are the man of the hour with this perfect, phenomenal weather.
You happy with it?
Oh.
It's working out for you?
It is. It's nice. It makes you feel alive.
I don't know anybody who has complained about this weather. No. Even the folks who really love warm, humid weather, and there are some folks out
I
there.
do. I
say
love warm, humid weather.
This is a delightful change,
Yes.
you know. It's seasonal. It feels good. And I think it's going to probably last for another 5 days. Now, we will warm up. There's no doubt about that. Our temperatures will increase a little bit. But a series of fronts are going to kind of keep the humidity low and keep the temperatures in check. I don't think we'll have anything that'll be too terribly out of the ordinary for this time of year coming up this week. So it looks good.
That's what we want to hear, John.
I know. Take a look for the start of the day from the Lakewood Ranch webcam, putting into motion a lot of beautiful blue sky out there. But also notice, as opposed to the last couple of days, a little bit more fair weather cloudiness. These are high, thin clouds. These will in no way be rain producers. We are dry today, and we'll be dry for the next several days. Look at Titan radar. Nowhere on the scan of the near areas of Florida, from Orlando down to Coral Springs over to Naples up to Spring Hill, do we see a drop of rain falling. And that'll be the case, I think, throughout the remainder of this afternoon. We're looking at dry conditions, daytime high temperatures topping out a little bit warmer, coming in the low 80s, most likely, as opposed to the upper 70s, which is where we were yesterday. And rain chance basically nil. We do have a couple of fronts coming through this week. We'll talk about them and their effect on the weather coming up in just a few. Back to you, Don.
Thank you, John. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office needs information about a weekend robbery at the Ellington outlets. It took place early Sunday morning around 7:30. Deputies say 4 black males wearing Halloween masks forced their way into the Puma Athletic store. The men took an unknown amount of clothing and left about a minute later. A similar break-in was also reported in Charlotte County in the Metro PSC store. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. And new at noon, a settlement has been reached between the Punta Gorda Police Department and a man that claims a canine officer mauled him. The incident happened last October, and since then, dashcam video of the attack has gone viral online. According to reports, Richard Schumacher was riding his bike at night without lights on a Kiesta Drive. Officer Lee Cole tried to stop Schumacher and released his canine to take him down when he tried to get away. Now, Schumacher received cuts and bruises, and Punta Gorda Police's insurance company has settled now with Schumacher for $70,000. Officer Cole, you may remember, is this same officer that was involved in a shooting accident during a training class, a citizens training class. 73-year-old Mary Knowlton died as a result of that shooting. The state attorney's office is working to determine if charges will be filed in that case. Joining us now, ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern. And Richard, the week has just begun. It's just early in the week already, but Wall Street is looking strong.
Don, you've got it exactly right. Up arrows across the board. We opened with a triple-digit gain. The high of the day so far has been plus 130 for the Dow. We're not quite that high right now, but a lot of it has to do with merger mania. Certainly, we heard a lot over the weekend about the proposed buyout, if you will, of Time Warner by AT&T, but that's not the only deal going down. We'll talk about that. And generally, very positive earnings continue. So let's take a look at the numbers as they stand right now. There you see the Dow's up 0.5%, more than 93 points at 18,238.99. That on volume of 377 million shares. The leader for the day so far is the NASDAQ, almost 0.9% better, up more than 46 points, exactly 5,304. That on volume of 801 million shares. The S&P, very much like the Dow, up 0.5%, up 10.5 points at 2,151.71. Well, yes, there are other mergers in the news or buyouts. How about TD Ameritrade buying Scottrade? TD Ameritrade is going to pay $4 billion to buy Scottrade. TD Ameritrade is the largest discount broker in this country based on the number of transactions. Scottrade, which is privately held, has agreed to the deal, which they expect to close by the end of September of next year. A lot of this has to do with the fact that volume is down, volatility is down, and a lot of the traditional financial institutions and brokerage firms are now getting into fee-based managed money, which means there are fewer transactions going on, which makes it more difficult for firms like Scottrade to survive. So, Don, we'll see how that works out, but right now it looks like there's going to be one less discount brokerage firm before terribly long.
All right, Richard, you come back at 5 today to spread the good news again?
One more time, 5 o'clock.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're
Richard
welcome.
Stern there. Now, get inspired today at the Inspire Sarasota Celebration of the Arts Festival. It takes place tonight, and the event is open to the public, and it's free. It's hosted by the Arts and Cultural Alliance of Sarasota. There will be performances by Sarasota Contemporary Dance, West Coast Black Theater Troupe, and also the Cuban Ballet School. Tonight's event is the kickoff show for the 2-week-long celebration, and festivities start tonight at 7. And refreshing news for Charlotte County Public Schools, as 14 of the county's teachers are receiving the Suncoast Credit Union Foundation's mini grants. Each year, the foundation selects teachers who applied for funding towards unique educational projects that engage their students. Those projects include robotics, 3D printing, science and history fairs, and even a recording studio. Overall, 31 projects were funded this year. The amount each teacher received is not yet known, but since 1990, the foundation has donated over $16 million to local health and education initiatives. Time now to head over to the kitchen and check out what ABC7 culinary director Judy Gallagher is cooking today. Judy?
I have a good one for you. It's steak day, and that means everybody at ABC is happy. The greatest news is, look at this, 4 strip steaks for $24. The sale is at Fresh Market, and it ends on Tuesday, so I recommend you're going to use this recipe. I taught my good friend Marjorie North this recipe years ago when she said she wanted to have a date night for her husband, and this recipe is foolproof. We're going to use some jarred green peppercorns. Don't worry if you have other ingredients in the house and you don't have the peppercorns, you can use capers instead. We're going to saute some mushrooms. Definitely butter is going in there, and a little Worcestershire and soy sauce. So stay with me throughout the hour. It is going to be an elegant but a simple dish, and we'll get started in just a few minutes.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Types of timber, cuts of meat, cooking times, temperatures, rubs, seasonings, sauces. You name it, they know it. That's what makes them who they are, Sonny's Pitmasters. And proud of it. Come get some baby back ribs at Sonny's Barbecue. On their own or paired with favorites like jalapeno cheddar hot links or pulled or sliced pork plus 2 sides and bread. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, you'll always get the most for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And right now, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing. Complimentary maintenance included at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Your home is the largest investment you have. So when you're looking for furniture, window treatments, and accessories, from America's top brands like Henrigon, American Leather, and Hunter Douglas, the only place you need to go is Bacon's. Quality, service, price. Bacon's Furniture and Design, Sarasota.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Current air temperature coming in at a very comfortable 77 degrees. Dew point is at 54. Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. Nice dew point in the mid-50s. Feels very nice. This morning was a little bit warmer than it was 24 hours ago, but still, it felt very refreshing. North wind coming in at about 8 with lots of sunshine out there and only a few fair weather high clouds around. Across the region, temperatures are uniformly comfortable. 74 degrees, Wauchula, 75, Arcadia, Myakka at 74, 74 in Parrish and Bradenton and Lakewood Ranch, Venice and Inglewood, 73 at Longboat Key. So we do have some high clouds around. The very dry air that was in place over the weekend that slipped in behind the cold front has produced some very nice conditions and now is kind of being replaced a little bit at mid and upper levels with some higher level cloud cover, a little bit of extra moisture starting to filter in, riding on this general wind that's coming in out of the north and west around an upper level area of high pressure. Now at the surface, the winds are being directed out of the northeast, and so we have this continuing wind flow across our region that is out of the northeast and is producing a few scattered showers over on the other coast, perhaps a few and far between, most of them not even making it to shore, but being over Atlantic waters primarily. And then a frontal boundary to the north of that high-pressure ridge will gradually start to sink south over the next several days. I think it may actually make it through our area as we head into Wednesday, something like that. And as such, our winds will start to shift a little bit more to the easterly direction and just before that front makes it through and once again reinforces our dry, pleasant air. I won't say cool air. We're not quite cool yet, but certainly pleasant air. Cool evenings. Sunny, dry, that'll continue on. We'll have breezy winds out of the northeast. Watch them surge a little bit later on this afternoon. There'll be kind of a breezy evening, I think. And then mostly clear during the overnight periods. Clear and crisp by morning. Right now, across the nation, there's just not a whole lot of activity in the deep south because of that high-pressure ridge. A few scattered showers in the northeast, also over Texas, a few scattered showers. And there have been a little bit of snow showery activity in parts of the northern tier in the Pacific Northwest. A couple areas of low pressure are moving across the region, too, right now that are producing the rain showers that you see there, and a little bit of snow showers as well, especially in areas of Utah. We are looking at quiet conditions here on the Suncoast. Titan radar has no rain to find, and so it's a very blank screen there. Potential for severe weather over the next day or two will occur in the Plains states. Nothing even close to the state of Florida, which won't even see a thunderstorm over the course of the next several days. In fact, I think it's going to be a while before we have even a chance at seeing a thunderstorm again. Probably you have to look beyond 7 days for that. A wind surging a bit in the afternoon at 10 to 15, becoming northeast at about 10, and the official Suncoast forecast calling for nice weather over the next several days. A little breezy on Wednesday as the next front comes through, and then we stay in that kind of low 80s, mid 80s over the course of the next few days, which is about exactly where we should be for this time of year. Back to you, Donnie.
Thank you, John. In health news today, as if migraines weren't bad enough, now we may have to worry about how it affects our mouths. According to a new study by the American Society for Microbiology, people with migraines can have more bacteria in their mouths than others. The symptoms may be caused by high amounts of mouth bacteria breaking down nitrates from food. Nitrates break down into nitrites, which can then be converted into nitric oxide. Increased nitric oxide in a person's bloodstream has been associated with migraines, but more research is needed to prove a correlation between the two. And apparently it takes a superhero to advocate for the rights of women. At least that's the message from the United Nations. The UN has appointed Wonder Woman as its honorary ambassador for the empowerment of women and girls. The decision comes as part of a campaign to raise awareness on achieving gender equality and empowerment for all women and girls. Since making her debut during World War II, the iconic female superhero has made great strides in replacing traditional female stereotypes such as the damsel in distress. Actress Linda Carter, who we know from the 1970s TV series, was the guest of honor at UN headquarters.
Wonder Woman helps bring out the inner strength every woman has. We are all inclusive. That is who women are. We are stronger together. We are half the world. We have a voice.
Despite U.S. appeal to Wonder Woman, not everyone is happy about this election. There's an online petition urging the UN Secretary General to reconsider the character's ambassadorship due to her immodest look. As a matter of fact, this past weekend marked the 75th anniversary of Wonder Woman. How ironic or coincidental. Coming up next on your Suncoast News, after a decades-long drought, the Chicago Cubs are heading to the World Series, and Cubs fans near and far couldn't be happier. A peek into the game that led to this historical moment. Plus, later, being a ghost or a vampire just isn't enough for kids these days. We'll break down the top Halloween costumes in demand this year. So don't go anywhere. Your Suncoast News continues.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Fit for $149 or Civic just $169 with no down payment. That's GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
Hurricane season is here, so when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology.
And focus on the Suncoast.
The official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you. ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School, serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Accord or CR-V for $179 with no down payment. Your choice, just $179. That's GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
Welcome back, everybody. Sometimes you just never know who is in your midst. Venice basketball players probably at first thought their assistant coach was just that, an assistant coach passing the time. But as of recently, however, they're being coached by a Hall of Famer. John Flynn, the boys basketball assistant coach at Venice High School, was inducted into his high school Hall of Fame this past weekend. Flynn, originally from Kings Park, New York, was a 1977 graduate from Kings Park High School, where he earned 9 varsity letters in soccer, basketball, and baseball, and was the 17th pick in the Major League Baseball draft by the Detroit Tigers out of high school in the early 80s. Now to Chicago, where the Cubs are on their way to the World Series for the first time in decades. Their last trip to Major League Baseball grand finale was in 1945 when they fell to the Detroit Tigers. Flynn was not on that team, by the way. So as you can imagine, it's a big moment for Cubs fans, and ABC's Paula Faris has the story.
The Chicago Cubs flying the W this weekend after an historic win. These lovable losers clinching their first National League pennant since 1945 with this epic double play. have won the pennant! Fans have watched and waited their entire lives. Famous fan Dorothy Farrell was just 19 years old last time they made it this far.
We were here to watch them win. It's the most exciting thing ever.
And it's been even longer since the Cubs have won a World Series, 1908. Back then, baseball was still segregated. Women did not have the right to vote, and the modern zipper hadn't even been invented. Maybe now, what seems like a world away, the Cubs can finally shake off all those curses.
We're just so excited to be a part of the team that gives them the opportunity to see a Chicago Cubs team in the World Series.
And this morning, Chicago fans remain in a Cubby coma. But tomorrow, anxiety sets in when their team takes on the Cleveland Indians, another team hoping to turn around decades of bad luck. All this hype has ticket sales skyrocketing. Tuesday night's game is averaging $3,900, and the asking price for games 3 through 5 in Chicago around $7,200.
Well, all that money being spent, so you might as well stay home, watch it on TV right here on the Suncoast, and do so with some recipes from Judy, from Chef Judy, and she's here now with some steak Diane for lunch. Judy?
Oh, this is going to be so good. Another dish that was one of Julia Child's favorite. You'll see lots of recipes online, and they all have their own little twist. Julia Child really loved to use a little beef bouillon with that, and that's going to boost the flavor. I didn't bring it in today, but that's an option if you wanted to add a little bit. Now, to save time, I have 2 pans going. I've put a little bit of Worcestershire and soy sauce on the steaks and salt and pepper. Now I'm going to just turn them. I've browned the butter, just gently brown the butter. And to keep the butter from burning, you can add just a splash of olive oil. So that is looking really well. We're going to give it 2 more minutes, and that's going to be a rare, so we're going to pull it off and put it on a platter. Now over here, I just took some fresh asparagus. Always bend the asparagus. Let me show you here. Where it should snap wherever it wants to. So you don't want to cut asparagus. You just bend it where it wants to snap, and that will keep it from that textured part that becomes too chewy. Just a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper, and that can go ahead in the oven at 400 degrees. If you don't want to turn the oven on, just put about a tablespoon of water, cover it with plastic wrap, poke a little slit in the plastic wrap, and put it in the microwave, probably 2 minutes tops. So the mushrooms are just about done for what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do to save time is I'm going to just pour it over in this bowl here. Now let's talk about butter. Not all butters are the same. You can get a really good grass-fed butter at most stores nowadays, and I recommend it. That's what we use for European and Irish butter because the cows are free grazing in those grass. So stay with me. I'm going to add the shallots to the pan, and I'm coming back with some great steak for Donnie.
Come experience the precision, performance, and power of the Ram 1500 during Ram Power Days at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Built tough enough to help you conquer whatever the day may throw your way with all the comfort, gizmos, and gadgets you'd find in a luxury vehicle. And right now, get over 20% off. That's up to $15,000 off a new Ram 1500. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you. Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call the number on the screen now to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. Call now.
The kitchen is where life happens. Minnesota Flooring now offers a wide variety of beautiful quality craft-made cabinetry to make sure the heart of your home reflects your style. Visit us today.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation. And everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts. And 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Don Brennan in for Scott Dennis. And topping our national news, emergency personnel are working in a small airport in Malta after a plane crash killed everyone on board. Video shows the crash earlier this morning from Malta International Airport. You can see the plane tipping to the right before slamming into the ground and bursting into flames. All 5 crew members on board were killed, and part of the burning wreckage ended up on a road outside the perimeter of the airport. The airport was then closed temporarily, and over a dozen flights were delayed or canceled. The plane was on its way to Libya. In California, a devastating bus crash claimed the lives of 13 people while leaving 31 others injured. The bus was making its way back to Los Angeles from a casino when it crashed into a big rig just after 5 in the morning on Sunday. The driver of the bus was among those killed, and California state troopers are still trying to determine the cause of the accident. They do believe possible fatigue or medical emergency could have contributed to the bus driver failing to even touch the brakes. The new at noon dramatic video from a police ride-along is making headlines as a civilian woman out with an officer caught up in a terrifying traffic stop, which ended with a chase and gunshots. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has more.
Caught on camera in Madera, California, a traffic stop that at first appears mundane.
A white Mazda on Mainbury, north of Howard.
The dash cam video showing the officer with a civilian guest in the cruiser for a ride-along trying to pull over this Mazda.
He's not stopping? You're kidding me, right?
But the driver takes off and the officer chases after the suspects. Within seconds, the woman in the cruiser screams as the squad car is about to come under fire.
Whatever, watch, shots fired.
And watch, just as they turn a corner, you can see the gunfire. In all, someone from the passenger side shooting a dozen times.
Shots fired!
3 of the bullets hitting and disabling the police cruiser, forcing the officer to end the pursuit. The police department later sharing these pictures of the patrol car's windows shattered, and this police say is the gun found in the car the suspects abandoned. Madera police, like so many other departments across the country, take civilians out as part of the Citizens Academy to show how police work, and they say the outcome here could have been much worse.
As far as close calls, this is a very close situation where an officer could have been killed or the passenger.
Well, thankfully, police say the officer was not injured at all, and the woman will also be okay, but she did suffer some minor cuts from the broken glass. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Wow, a harrowing experience there. And back here in Florida, while going up the Space Coast, Hurricane Nicole did not directly hit the U.S., but it still displaced hundreds of little baby sea turtles. Now take a look. 366 baby sea turtles washed onto the beaches in Brevard County. 297 of the washback turtles survived, including 283 loggerheads, 10 green turtles, and 4 hawksbill turtles. Experts say most of the turtles were likely exhausted by the time they reached the beach. They're all being taken care of at the Brevard Zoo and Sea Turtle Healing Center. FWC says they may launch a boat from Fort Pierce later this week to take the turtles back out to sea. Ooh, John, yeah, I mean, Nicole kind of, after Matthew did its damage, Nicole kind of passed by without a blip, without us even noticing.
Everything's looking real good right now, tropically speaking, as well.
That's good to hear.
You know, hopefully the next 5 days anyway, we can pretty much be sure. It doesn't look like anything's going to be popping up. We've got a couple of fronts that'll come through, kind of increase shear over the Gulf of Mexico and over the Atlantic. You know, they say that the hurricane season starts with water temperature and ends with wind shear. And we're starting to get those fronts move through now. So, you know, maybe that old adage in the biz will hold true and we'll start to get some upper level winds unfavorable for development. Let's hope. We have right now some blue sky out there on our tower cam video, time lapse to start off the morning, and a few fair weather high level clouds kind of streaming on past as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag of sky cover between blue sky and a little bit of cloudiness, but none of it really boding any kind of rainfall for us. We stay high and dry today. Across the region, temperatures will climb to a little bit higher than they were yesterday, but still very comfortable, running at about a seasonable daytime high, or maybe a degree lower than. 80 degrees by 2 p.m. by 777, and it should be an absolutely glorious overnight. We'll talk about the forecast for the next few days coming up in just a few. Don?
Thank you, John. New developments this afternoon overseas in Iraq. The battle to retake the northern city of Mosul from ISIS continues. Iraqi special forces have begun shelling Islamic State positions near the city. It began today in a historically Christian town of the east of Mosul. Now, the campaign to retake Mosul comes after months of planning and involves more than 2,000 Iraqi troops, Kurdish forces, Sunni tribal fighters, and state-sanctioned Shiite militias. The U.S. is helping, but the forces in Iraq have not necessarily been happy with the amount of aerial strikes from the Americans, though it is expected to take weeks, if not months, to drive ISIS out of Iraq's second largest city. New at noon, the piano guy's John Schmidt is begging for help and prayers after his daughter went missing on a hike in Oregon more than a week ago. ABC's Philip Mena is in Portland with the story.
After days of drones searching from above, dogs canvassing below, and rescuers rappelling deep into ravines, law enforcement calling off the search for 21-year-old Annie Schmidt.
Any inch of the trail she could have gone off.
The young hiker vanishing more than a week ago in Oregon's vast Columbia River Gorge, an intricate maze of trails and home to more than 90 waterfalls.
If she got injured and is by a water source, she could still be alive.
Schmidt's father, John, a member of the popular YouTube band, The Piano Guys, asking his millions of Facebook followers for any information or to simply pray for his daughter.
It would take a miracle, but we're holding on to miracles.
Schmidt, an avid hiker, had been preparing for a hiking trip with her mother, recently buying a new tent and backpack. But Schmidt's roommate says she left all of her gear at home. Her car discovered near the trailhead days later. Her phone and belongings still inside.
I think she got out of her car and was going to go for a short hike.
Schmidt's last tweet, this scenic landscape, writing, "Fill your life with good vibes."
Please hear our prayer.
Her loved ones refusing to give up.
We feel like she's in God's hands. We trust that He will guide us to find her.
Investigators say there are no signs of any foul play, but as of now, search and rescue crews will not be coming back out here until they have some solid leads. Philip Mena, ABC News, Portland, Oregon.
Switching gears a bit, in consumer news, there's more fallout from the so-called Brexit vote. Banks in Britain are preparing to leave the country by the end of this year. That's according to the head of the British Bankers Association. It'll be months before formal talks get underway for Britain's exit from the European Union, but those negotiations could last as long as 2 years. And international bankers say they can't wait that long to leave. If you're hoping to tour the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., you'll have to wait until spring. Yes, it is open, but tickets to the new Smithsonian edition are sold out through March already. They're selling like hotcakes. The hysteria is being compared to the smash hit on Broadway, Hamilton, which is also sold out for months. The museum opened September 24th with close to 30,000 people pouring in daily. To enter the museum is actually free, but you still need a ticket to get in. Now let's head back over to the kitchen and see how lunch is going with ABC 7 culinary director Judy Gallagher.
Ooh la la, it smells so good already. In the pan where I seared off the sirloin steaks, I have that delicious juice from the steaks. And now I'm going to add the green peppercorns. Now they're jarred in a brine, so I've drained that out a bit. Going to give it a good sizzle. If you ever wanted to modify this recipe and add a little spice, you can add in a little bit of pink Szechuan peppers, but that's going to be a big bite, teeny bit. So as the butter, you can see, is starting to bubble up in the pan, you can add some port or cognac to it. Give it a little swish, and I'm going to do just a dot more Worcestershire. Remember, we started out by coating the steaks, letting them sit out for 45 minutes at room temperature, and doing a little dash of soy sauce and Worcestershire salt and pepper on the steaks. So now this is reducing beautifully. What I do now is add the shallots, but I already sauteed them, and they are cut nice and thin. So this, I gotta tell you, sauteed shallots in butter, oh, the aroma and the flavor is just magnificent. So that looks like it's reduced by about half. Now we're going to add a little heavy cream. Just a little bit is going to be the right amount. And again, remember that you can alter the recipe. So I have garlic if you want garlic in it, but you don't have to use the garlic. So this is reduced really beautifully. Now we start adding our steaks to the sauce. If you need a little more butter, go ahead and add the butter. Remember, use that delicious grass-fed butter. The flavor is just gonna be incredible. So what I like to do is let the steaks cook in the sauce just for a minute. That's gonna turn it to a medium rare. They were at medium, and this one's giving me some trouble here. I might have to use my finger there. There we go. And you can see that sauce is just going to be perfect. Let's take a peek at our asparagus, see how they're going. They are just about done. The olive oil is sizzling up. That's going to be great. I'm not going to put any lemon on the asparagus because I don't want that citric acid in there at all. So let's get to the steak and bring it to the plate so we can add another steak in the pan with this beautiful sauce. So we'll just do it as we go, but you can see it's just really going to be decadent and yummy, and just, this is like date night special, is to make steak Diane. I really love it. But in the meantime, since it's daytime, I guess my dates are going to be my working bros. So I think these guys are going to have a great lunch in just a few minutes. I'll add the mushrooms, and I'll be back to serve up lunch in just a few.
These are our heroes. They have sacrificed so much to serve our country, and now Granny Nannies is truly honored to serve them. We're here, and we're ready to help. Call us today.
Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School, serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, AND services.com.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
At Granny Nannies, we provide your loved ones with the care they deserve, compassionate and experienced help right where you need it most, at home. Visit us at GrannyNannies.com.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Looking at an air temperature, 77 degrees. It's about what you'd expect this time of year, this time of day. It's 54. Our dew point value, boy, that's comfortable. That feels really good. And we have a lot of sunshine out there. Again, a little bit of high-level cloudiness. Temperatures across the region generally hanging out in the mid-70s, 74 Wauchula, 75 Arcadia, 74 Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, 75 in Northport and in Venice and in Inglewood, 74 degrees out at Longboat Key. So across the region, things are pretty quiet. Nothing here going on in terms of any kind of radar echoes. Don't expect to see any rainfall today. There are a few hot spots in the country. Basically, back to the west, we have a little bit of showery activity in Texas, a little bit in the northeast. But it's back to the west where a series of little impulses moving onshore have the potential of producing some stronger storms. Not so much today, but by tomorrow, I think, as that system moves out a little bit further into the plains on the lee side of the Rockies, we'll start to see the potential of some stronger storms. Of course, for us, not a thunderstorm to be seen anywhere from the Storm Prediction Center. High pressure is the reason why it's the dominant weather feature for us today and next couple of days, I think. We have this general northeasterly wind flow around the area of high pressure that'll continue to bring us fairly stable conditions. Maybe it picks up a few scattered showers and brings them over to the other coast, but they'll be few and far between in this dry air, and they'll never make it across the peninsula. Now, on Wednesday, I would say, this frontal boundary located to our north will be sinking southward and probably around midday make it through the Florida peninsula. It'll come through in a very weak fashion. You won't even hardly notice it, except the winds may pick up just a little bit. That's of particular interest, I would think, to mariners. Otherwise, it's just going to reinforce the delightful weather we already have and just keep that drier air locked into place and pretty much assure rain-free conditions for the balance of this work week. Sunny, dry weather, that will continue. Our evaporation rates are pretty high with this sunshine that's still kind of high in the sky and producing some temperatures in the mid-80s to low 80s this week. And with the drier air with low dew points, you may find that you're going to have to water your plants a little bit more frequently this week. Breezy northeast wind, mostly clear during the overnights. One thing this front did was kind of lower our temperatures a little bit. We have temperatures now that are still able to support tropical development, but certainly a lot less fuel available for tropical development now than there was 5 days ago. We've dropped our nearshore water temperatures by about 3 or 4 degrees. We have generally no red tide to talk about. Mote Marine observers did not find any irritants at any of the observing sites on the day they took those observations. Northeast wind surges a little this afternoon, becomes 10 knots, bringing a light chop rather. Forecast calling for breezy conditions on Wednesday. Otherwise, the beautiful weather continues, Don.
Thank you, John. Now, with Halloween around the corner, the Humane Society of Sarasota County is hosting their 19th annual Halloween Pet Costume Contest this Wednesday. It's being held at the Philippi Farmhouse Market in just 2 days. That's Wednesday. Prize categories include the cutest costume, the funniest costume, and the best pet and owner look-alike costume. Now, participants, four-legged and otherwise, are also invited to roam the market during all the fun. And long gone are the witches, broom, or the spooky ghost. This Halloween, more kids want to be a superhero. That's according to a survey from the National Retail Federation, but that perfect costume may cost you an arm and a leg. Mary Maloney explains in today's Consumer Watch.
Kiss the princess goodbye.
This Halloween, kids are trading in their crowns for capes.
I saved the city again. Baby's off the chain.
It's the first time in 11 years princesses haven't reigned over the top costume spot, according to a survey by the National Retail Federation. Rounding out the top 5, animals, a character from Batman or Star Wars. But kids aren't the only ones planning on dressing up. Expect to see millennials looking like someone in the Batman universe. You can thank Suicide Squad for that.
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
The Witch puts a spell on adults over 35. Most who celebrate Halloween, 67%, plan on buying their outfit. And it probably won't come cheap. In total this year, Americans are expected to spend $3.1 billion to get their costume just right. Happy haunting.
Got something better to do?
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Up next, you won't believe who's a Cubs fan. Actually, you will believe, but you won't believe what he had to say about it. The latest actor to receive a very prestigious award. And somewhere over the rainbow, there's hope for Dorothy's slippers after all. A successful campaign to bring the magic of those ruby red slippers back to life. It's coming up in entertainment.
My name's Emma. I'm 15. I was bullied all through middle school. That's when I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and an eating disorder.
It's like I'm stuck. It's like impossible to move. And I just feel like people just will think I'm making it up.
You need to tell someone because people do care and you're not alone. I don't think depression makes me a bad person. I think it makes me stronger.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7.
The school needs to continue the sales tax. The county needs to improve their infrastructure. They have no source to correct the infrastructure.
Manatee voters will decide on 2 half-cent sales taxes this November. So how could they improve infrastructure and schools? I'm Haley Wilgus. We'll have that story plus our roundtable discussion.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Game on, Suncoast. Get scores and highlights from the area's top high school matchups on Football Friday night, just after the news at 11:15. Sponsored by Gulf Coast Honda. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Your home is the largest investment you have. So when you're looking for furniture, window treatments, and accessories, from America's top brands like Henredon, American Leather, and Hunter Douglas, the only place you need to go is Bacon's. Quality, service, price. Bacon's Furniture and Design, Sarasota.
This is so good. I mean, who doesn't love a good steak? But
I
the
know.
sauce, the mushroom sauce that you've created on the steak, Diana, is
You have those
fantastic.
sauteed scallops, and then you use either cognac or port, really good butter, and the steaks are on sale. I have to give them a shout out at Fresh Market. You were there over the weekend. I was there, and people, it was packed. They're on sale till tomorrow, so this is the recipe to make, and what can I say? It's a good classic steak.
It is so tasty, so tasty.
Thank
and it'd
you.
be good on a grill too, I would imagine.
Absolutely, and then you make the sauce in the pan on the side.
Beautiful stuff, and the weather's perfect for it.
Thank you, John.
Recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Donnie, back to you. I'll leave some for you, I promise.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, John. Bill Murray, the latest recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. The actor was honored last night by more than a dozen of his co-stars, including David Letterman and Murray's older brother, Brian Doyle Murray. The evening was a roast of sorts with jokes about Murray's well-known tendencies to turn down roles and never return phone calls. It also turns out that, obviously, Murray, a big fan of one particular baseball team that has not been to the World Series since 1908.
This right here, this is Chicago Cub Blue. This is what we're really all about. We're here. We're here, and I'm glad that they won last night so I could be here this evening.
The ceremony took place at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And finally, dreams really do come true in Emerald City. The Smithsonian Museum now has enough money to save the famous ruby red slippers from the Wizard of Oz. Last week, they launched a Kickstarter campaign to raise $300,000 to help preserve those slippers. This past weekend, they reached their goal thanks to more than 5,300 supporters across 6 continents. The museum will announce a stretch goal sometime today. The slippers, they'll be fully restored and placed in an advanced display case that will preserve them for future generations. And my mother, when I was a kid, my mother told me that she had lunch with the Wicked Witch of the East. And I was like,
Margaret.
Yes, Margaret from,
Wow.
And I was like, oh, you did? What was she like? Was she mean?
Oh, I met somebody who was sisters of one of the Lollipop kids.